Okay, I am back. Let's get right into the stock market technical analysis, everyone. Drop me a thumbs up if you guys find value in my content. Leave a comment below if you're glad I'm back. I do appreciate you guys following along and being subscribers of my channel. Okay, so let's get into the triple Qs. I'll kind of cover what's really going on. You know, I was not able to put out videos last week, most of last week, you know, there wasn't a whole lot that happened. I'll show you guys kind of how I'm trading it right now and what levels I'm really keying in on. One thing to note, this week, I believe on Wednesday, is the Fed meeting. So they start meeting today and do their little rate announcement on Wednesday, as well as the press conference. Now, it's pretty much priced in that they're going to do a 75 basis point rate hike. That's what the Fed futures is anticipating. So that's what I would expect that they do. And then we'll watch for forward guidance. If they start to say that they're going to be data dependent, starting to back off on wait and see kind of stuff, the market's likely going to rally on that. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then also we've got all the big large cap tech stocks. Microsoft and you know, all the big cap tech stocks are going to start reporting here starting this week as well. So big market moving reports, as well as the Fed. So we have to, you know, likely nothing's going to happen up until then in terms of major movements. There's probably going to be a lot of whipsaws up and down, false breakdowns, false breakouts, until we get through some of these big market moving events, because institutions aren't going to just load up on large positions right before this information. They're going to wait for these volatility events to get out of the way before taking large positions. So we'll start to see where the market wants to go in the future after we get through some of this stuff. Okay, so in general, you know, trying to keep it relatively light for trading. All right, no huge positions on my part, at least. Okay, triple Qs. Couple things going on. I really have to go down to the hourly just to get it down to you know, the near term stuff. So on the hourly, let me just kind of clean some of this stuff up. We have negative divergence here on the hourly right there. That was in place last week. Okay, on the RSI and the PPO, just mildly there on the PPO. And we started to see a pullback in price. Now we ran into what looks to be in kind of a near-term support. It's about 300, that whole number. And then we also have we have better support right down here at 296.50. It's about 296.61, I guess. But right in there. And of course, you don't want to wait for the exact penny. But that's much better support. You can see, you know, right in here, it was resistance, resistance, resistance. And then we finally broke out. So I think we're going to come in for a back test of that. Looks like we're heading down, kind of flagging out right now. But I think we're going to run down and hit that, or at least get very close. And then probably bounce off of that. That's what I would expect. Down below, there is a more major trend line, and that's kind of this most recent rally that we've been seeing. Again, the last couple of weeks I've been talking about how I thought the market was going to rally, and sure enough, it has continued to rally. Last week was no different. From the lows right now, we've rallied up a total of 14% from the lows. So is that it, or do we have another move higher? I'm leaning towards another move higher. But I think we're probably going to get a little pullback here. We've already started that pullback, so I think a little more downside. Hit this area of support. Probably get a bounce off of that, and then at the end of the day, continue up to our major downtrend line, which is up here at 329. All right, that's on triple Qs. That's the coming off the all-time highs. You got a reaction right here, and I think we're going to run up and get another reaction. Okay, so that's it. A little more downside, bounce off that, and then continue higher up to some of these higher price targets. We've got resistance right there at about 315, and then again that 329 area. A lot of these stocks that I pointed out going long on, they're all getting pullbacks into what looks like support. Now, the way I have played it, last week I closed out pretty much most of my long positions and actually Flip short on the triple Qs just for a small little trade. I haven't shorted any two stocks. I shorted triple Qs and PayPal. And not as large as I was on a long position. Looking for a little pullback before going back long again. So a lot of these look like they're selling down into support. Not quite there yet, but apps, we could see it. It had a breakout here. I pointed it out. We had the breakout, nice breakout. We could come all the way down for a back test. Likely going to happen after these market moving events this week take place if we're going to get it. And the earnings is coming up on this as well. So I don't see any real reason to be in a position on this one right here and now. It had a nice rally on the breakout. The breakout occurred, and it rallied up 20% from that initial breakout. So if it gets the back test, and let's say we come down to this trend line somewhere in here, that's an objective long right there. But where we're at right here, I'm just not that interested in being long this position. Another one that I've been talking about, PayPal. So again, this one, still looks decent, rallying. I think we're probably, I was looking for it to pull back to right here, 77.87. If I go to the hourly chart, you can see that was kind of your former area of resistance, and I was looking for a pullback down to here. I closed out the short position today, and on this dip that it did, got pretty close, didn't quite get there, but good enough for a minor pullback when I shorted it last week. It's about a 3 or 4% gain. Okay, moving on. ZG. So this one, if you go to the daily, you can see bullish falling wedge pattern. We had a breakout right here. We could come in for a back test. Something like this, hit this trend line. That would be the objective area to go long. Otherwise, probably need to take out the highs right here, the most recent highs. You start taking that out, and you're probably going to continue to rally. So I am looking for more of a rally. Maybe it wants to run and do a back test this week. If you see this level being hit right before the market moving events, then it could be a pretty objective area to go long. Facebook, you can see here on Facebook, we had this bullish falling wedge pattern. We did break out right here and clearly coming in for a back test. So this one's getting close to being an objective area to go long. Maybe it wants to come down and hit this 165 area, another $2 down. But that's objective as a long trade. Again, it's it's probably going to grind around and chop around for a couple days leading up into these market moving events, but it is getting objective to go long again. So, and from, it gapped down and trapped along a lot of these breakout holders. You can see, from the highs here, it's down almost 10%. So again, looks like a pretty objective area to start to go long, maybe a little more downside. And then the way I'm treating this one is, we broke out of the bullish falling wedge. So as you break out, you back test, and then you continue higher up to the next level. The target on this one, I think, is about 202.75. Okay, that's really the target that I have, and maybe all the way up to the 200-day moving average of 245. But for now, we'll just look at this target right there. Gold. So this is gold bullion. Hit major support last week at 1680. So as you can see, if I mark it out, you can see 1680 has been a major level right through here. Again, support right through here, hit it again there, and just hit it again last week. So major support has not been broken. I don't see any real bullish divergence on the weekly chart, so nothing that's screaming bullish, but it is holding support. So as long as you can hold that, it's good. If it breaks that, no bueno. And that's this again, this is a weekly chart, so bigger picture stuff there. If I go to the daily, no real bullish divergence here on the daily chart. We did bounce off that support level at 1680. Looking at the PPO, starting to get a bullish crossover right here. No bullish divergence though, so I think gold's got a little more work to do. It's just not, again, I've talked about how recently I just was kind of hesitant. It just wasn't showing me the stuff I was looking for. However, recognize a couple things. One, if I go to the dollar, that has had a pullback. Now, we don't have a break of trend. We need to see this get taken out, which is right there at about 105. Yeah, it's about 105. We need to see that get taken out in order to signal a break of trend. We don't have that yet. We did have negative divergence, so this is a divergent high. So I think we are going to break trend. We're probably going to continue lower, hit this trend line, probably bounce, and then ultimately break. But that's kind of what I'm seeing there. And then the miners, they're just getting sold into pretty intensely. We got this potential bullish falling wedge here, right there. Potential bullish divergence on the RSI, but not confirmed yet. And let me look at the PPO. See potential there, but it really needs to turn up from here. If it can turn up here and start to point higher, and same with the RSI, starts to turn up, then this would be a divergent low. We would have a bullish falling wedge. Again, the other thing is this week is Fed week. So take this week's price action with a grain of salt, especially what happens prior to the Fed. You might see these things get sold down really heavily, and then after the Fed comes out, snap them right back up and kind of create that false breakdown. Again, I'm not confident on what's going to happen because, again, I just don't have enough in the charts to tell me that we have, confirmed divergences or anything like that. But I do know how the market likes to behave right before the Fed. Sometimes they'll run some stops basically, and it seems like that's what's going on. The big culprit today is Newmont Mining, just pretty much capitulation selling. It looks like decent. Check the volume. Decent volume. Yeah, really high volume. You can't even see the volume. I have to go to the hourly. You can see the volume's dropping off. So diverging volume as price is dropping off. But if I go to the daily, the volume candle is right there, right behind that. So big volume today on a big move down. Could be capitulation. No divergences though, so we are definitely oversold, but oversold is not good enough in my book. You can become more oversold, and oversold can remain oversold while prices continue lower. So just not enough there for me to be bullish on this one. Coming into what looks like support, decent support here at about 44.50 on this one. You can see going all the way back to 2011. That was former support right here. Then it broke into the bear market. It was resistance here. This is kind of COVID, but we are coming down into that. So potential, bottoming price action, but again, I don't see enough to tell me that this is the bottom on this stock. But we'll keep an eye out on these miners. They're not looking great, but they could be. I really need to see how the Fed's going to come out. I suspect if the Fed's going to hike 75 basis points and they're going to be done, and when they signal that they're done, that's when these are going to rally. Okay, the gold. I think we're at the end of the rate hike cycle, at least for the near term. What I'm believing is going to happen is the Fed's going to do the 75 basis point hike. They're then going to be data dependent. They're going to say we're done, or at least we're going to start to be data dependent and really back off. You've already seen commodities going over to this. We've seen the commodities come down. Here's the DBA. Commodities from the high have come down about 15% or so. So that should work its way into the CPI, and the CPI should start to come down a little, and that will give the Fed the ability to say we're done. So they're likely going to, over the near term, start to walk back their hawkish rhetoric because they can't raise interest rates that much. So this is how it seems to be playing out. And then gold should rally from here, So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. The charts don't look great. Oil. So oil looks like it's at support right here on the oil futures. You can see support, and we're at support right now. So probably going to hold this support, but you never know. I don't see any signs that oil's not going to hold this support. One thing to note, at least how it goes to the gold miners, that's their major input is oil and labor. So oil's come off from, the recent high is about 22%. That should work its way into the gold miners' bottom line as well. So making a case for some capitalization on the oil or on the gold mining stocks. But again, just not enough in the chart to tell me that it's time to go long or that it's time to add to positions. I still have some positions in the miners. I'm going to probably hold on to them at least till the end of the week and into next week and then reevaluate. I'd like to get through the FAANG stock earnings as well as the Fed. Netflix still looks decent. We had the breakout back here on July 15th. Nothing but rallying since. Probably going to get a little pullback down to this area right here at 205. To me, that looks like the buy zone. You can see that's resistance. That was big resistance all through here. So we get a pullback down to there, and that's probably where I'd want to be buying that thing back for the next leg higher. Next level of resistance is going to be right up in this 251-ish area. We break above that, and we got a gap fill at 330.75. So those are the levels I'm watching. Buy zone for me is right there. Could come in for a full back test, but I don't think so. I think we probably would just come to this area right here. So I'd be buying it there. That's how I'll be treating it, and looking to sell it into these resistance levels. Okay, that's all I have for today, guys. Drop me a thumbs up. Check out my stock market technical analysis course if you guys are interested in learning this as a skill set. Link in the description below. I put that course together for my subscribers. It's not free, but it is affordable. So check that out if you're interested, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.